Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode of the Strand Tennis Center podcast, filled with tips, advice, tennis, not tennis, just life advice too, whatever you need. Like it on YouTube, share it on the podcast as well. Thank you. Hi everybody, this is the Strand Tennis Center podcast. I'm Steve Capo, I'm your host. It is July, I shouldn't say the day, that's the old rule. What is it, July 12th though? I don't care. I don't follow the rules, Santi. What is, let's see, it's July 12th. 4 o'clock. How are you today, Santi?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Doing well, thank you. All right, Santi, I got a couple of questions for you. This is what I decided
for me?
For you. This is going to be...
Interesting.
We're going to give people a slice of my one-on-one experience with the employee. Chris will love it. He'll chime in while he's chewing on his salad over there like a rabbit. Right, Chris? Right.
Delicious.
All right, Santi.
Yes.
So... This is an example of a couple one-on-one questions that we have.
Okay.
How would you see yourself in 3 years if you were still here?
3 years.
Yes.
If
you were still you're here, and how do you see yourself in 3 years?
Even more responsibility somehow. Or maybe in 3 years you could open another facility and go there. You got to do something. You gotta
talking
expand.
about you.
Me?
You
oh,
just
that's
asked
what
me.
I want. That's what
that's what
I want you to expand.
Yeah.
I would love you to expand. I feel like it's, kind of time. You're so busy here that you might as well find another spot that gets busy too.
It's not what Chris said yesterday. We weren't busy enough yesterday.
Well, Summer's different. Winter's crazy. Yeah. That's what I see.
Well, that is true.
Spread people across, and I see me like how kind of you're mentoring me in a way. I feel like maybe we'll find someone that I can mentor a little bit. Give them my responsibilities, yell at them a little. So speaking of that, as part of one-on-one questions, what are your responsibilities here, and what do you think the goal sets are for this place? Well, currently. First, I was responsible for the UTR stuff. That was a small thing that would, it's kind of like training ground. See if I can handle it.
So let me stop you. So okay. UTR, just explain. UTR is.
Oh, it's like USTA matches. It's like just tennis matches where kids come and play. They play one match. They come Fridays. I got to email the parents or the kids and tell them what time to come. Sometimes they come way too early, and I'm like, did you get our email? And they're like, oh, I don't know, I gotta check. And then I was like, okay, well, you're coming back in an hour and a half, so go get some food or something. So that's my life. So or they're like, oh, can my kid play this kid? I'm like, nope.
So the UTR stands for Universal Tennis Ranking. Yep. This company was started in California. It's become kind of the proprietary ranking system for colleges to look at and for coaches to look at to see where kids are. So when you go and you apply for playing for a school, you're going to say, hey, my UTR is 7, a 9, a 10. So people play to increase their ranking. And we would get people from all over the place because there's not many people. It's gotten a little bit more. There's not many people that have or
run UTR events?
Hold UTRs.
Yeah.
So you'll get kids from New York. You'll get kids.
Yeah, I had a kid from New York last week. She rode an Uber all the way here.
Crazy, isn't it?
I let her play 2 matches.
They'll come from Brooklyn. They'll come from Queens. They'll come even from. I had somebody come from Massachusetts or something. Connecticut's crazy.
Yeah.
So that is a good. We'll get more granular here, more specific. That's a good proving ground because what happens, it makes you manage people on a smaller scale. So you'll have maybe 20 people. So that means you'll have 20 parents to deal with. You have to email. You have to correspond. You'll have to make sure that you're basically running kind of a mini tournament, even though it's one match. You have to be able to time it and say, okay, and you're going to kind of referee at the same time. So you're kind of juggling a lot of balls inside of a tight window, which is good to learn because what happens is as this place expands and grows in your responsibility, there's just more balls in the air to handle. And again, Ruthie and Chris will, not like that I enjoy chaos because chaos is kind of because I don't know, it's kind of where I sit the most comfortable in chaos because I don't know, if I just think of percentages and odds. If I have more chaos going on, I can be able to succeed at maybe 4 of the things that 12 of the things are in the air instead of doing one thing and putting so much pressure on myself over that one thing. So imagine if I had to do one thing today and I fucked up that one thing. That's a lot of pressure.
That's whack.
But if I have 12 things going on and I screw up 5 of them, I'm still feel pretty good.
A couple wins.
There's CJ with the shades too. I love when CJ comes in with the shades and the beard and the Gatorade and the Cliff Bar. He's the best. And the Red Bull. CJ's a big Red Bull guy. Gets a lot of juice from the Red Bull. So that helps you deal with a little bit of chaos in a small window of time. So in regards to responsibilities, and I just stopped you to explain UTR, what do you think your other responsibilities here to the group, to yourself, to the club?
Well, you gave me a lot of pickleball responsibilities, so I'm currently responsible for like booking lessons, making sure we take people off of certain lessons if they cancel, making sure they know who they're playing with or what coaches they're playing with, making sure the coaches know that they're teaching that person that day and not sleeping or whatever, or playing golf like CJ here.
Playing golf like CJ. I've never missed a lesson for golf. Oh, he had to cancel it. Yeah, CJ will interrupt. Well, CJ had to cancel a golf lesson, and I was like, "Can we reschedule?" He goes, "I've had it for months." He made me feel terrible about myself. I mean, geez, CJ really puts the guilt on.
He's gonna leave us for golf one day. Yeah.
I mean, they had a golf lesson. Think about it, folks. Just think about it, though. Get the image here. It's Wednesday, 9 or 10 o'clock. Most people are in the office or most people are working. He had a golf lesson scheduled, and he's at 9 o'clock. He's like, a golf lesson at 9 on a Wednesday. I was like, wait a minute. Okay. No, but CJ, we have strange schedules here, so he was correct for making me feel bad about myself. Because I'm a terrible human being. I realize that we'll go it's the boss, it's all your fault, as you would.
It always is your fault.
It always is your fault. So let's think more of a macro philosophy discussion. In regards to your responsibilities, what do you think the goal of here, and what do you think your responsibility is to the team and to the Strand itself? Don't worry about specifics right now. Just think about
I feel like
overall
philosophy. My job is to make sure people are happy, to be honest. Just to make sure, like, even on like the court, whatever I'm doing, people aren't fighting with each other. Kids aren't fighting with each other. People want to come back and they want to tell people about the Strand or tennis in general or pickleball in general, and seeing how it's a good sport or there's a good sports to play. So in general, I feel like I'm just making sure people are content, are happy. If not, if there's something wrong, try to fix their little issues, because everyone has issues with whatever it is. Yeah. But overall, you're selling an activity that provides happiness, and everyone just wants some type of happiness in their life. That's what I would say.
You're right. The customer service, that is your main goal. What do you think my main goal as the boss is? What do you think I'm responsible for?
You're responsible for us to make it easier to make them happy.
Yep.
Does that make sense? Okay. Did I word it? I think I worded it the right way.
Well, that's good clarity. Yeah. It's my job to give you the tools give you the right environment to make you happy. An environment is,
to make us happy too as employees, because then if we're not happy, we're just gonna be grumpy on the court or whatever we're doing.
And it really, if you set the environment. Look at CJ just sitting right next to me drinking his Red Bull. I know he's not on camera, but it's just so funny. He chills. He finds a comfy seat, baby. Hey, Hardy. So the responsibility, yes, is to make the environment comfortable for you guys to succeed. And sometimes you don't have to try to change that or crowbar what you think is correct so somebody's happy. There's many times that there's simple interview questions you can ask people to know that you're just not for them. Like, we're just a certain environment, and we're not for certain employees. Like I told you, we already discussed that we're not for certain customers, but certain employees won't like how we do things. They won't
Can you give like an example?
Is that Ruthie chiming in? Oh, yeah.
Like a giant podcast. It'd be so fun.
Jeez, this is a good podcast when it's during the day and everybody can chime in. The peanut gallery. What?
Oh, no.
What we
Can you give an example? Like,
give you an example.
Why somebody left or something, like...
No, well, some people, again, this is a perfect example. Some people, and again, we're battling with this as well. We don't do it great, but some people want their schedule to be the same every single day, and they don't want any changes. Yeah, and that's really impossible to do, and I understand it on both ends, but some people can't manage that, and they freak out.
Right.
So we just can't. There's nothing we can do for them. You know, we can't. I can't make it perfect. I try to do my best. We all try to do our best. But again, if it's a customer service business and somebody wants like a lesson that day, you got to ask somebody to do it.
Yep.
Right. So some people just don't roll that way. They just want to know that their day
when they're working, come in, leave.
And some people
robotic.
Some people want, you know. They want, you know, I'm not a morning person, or I don't want to work Saturdays. I don't want to work Sundays. Well, we're in a service business. It's the opposite. Usually the best bet you'd get is Monday off because less people are around. So if you're in the service business and you're teaching tennis, you're teaching a sport, and you don't want to work on the weekends, it's kind of a tough situation. Everybody's got to usually work one weekend day.
Yep.
Because most of the people want to play on the weekends. Simple things like that.
That makes sense.
Ruthie's got a few other ones. Hardiman, you got a few other ones of where people were just, the pro is just, it's just not the right fit, and it's just a different situation, and they're expecting us to be something like a round hole, and we're a square peg, and I don't know. Anything?
Yeah, sure.
But you can't discuss it?
Yeah, no.
Well, you don't have to mention any
disclosure agreements. Sorry.
He signed an NDA. This guy with who? I don't even know. I know you're kidding. You didn't sign it with me. But Hardiman's got a lot of information under the hood. He should write a book one day. That's what he should do, and write a book. Hardiman's got a great experience because he is more of in a management position now, right? So he was on the other side. He's been on both sides. So he kind of gets both. And he's kind of coming over to the management side and saying, like, you know, I'm just trying to fill the schedule here. You know, just do your job. So, hey, Alex, just do your job. So it's hard on both ends. You know, you got both ways where you're like, I want to fill this schedule, and I have these tools to work with. So it's hard on both ends. People, you know. So we're back to your kind of your overall goal. Again, you see yourself in 3 years wanting to be your own boss.
It'd be fun to like run like a little side facility or something.
That's nice.
If possible, or something. I mean, I'll still run whatever's here, but I feel like it's going to get too crazy. Yeah. It's going to get even busier.
That's another question. We're talking,
and hopefully
we talk about tiers. We talk about tiers of management. Now, would you prefer, and even CJ can answer this question from the back while he's sucking on his Red Bull. Would you prefer us hire a sales staff? That way you don't have to sell and you just teach your lesson.
I'll like sell the lesson.
So in other words,
so I don't have to call the person and be like, "Oh, we have this time open."
Like all gyms have a sales department.
Yeah.
The trainer on the floor is not selling them. They will, you know, they'll ask them their schedule, but most people, there's a sales department that sells the club.
But you're building the relationship with the client, so the client kind of likes it when you tell them what times they have, like, oh yeah, you can come today at this time, I'm available. You know, if it's just like some random, you know, whatever front desk person calling saying, oh, Santi's available then, blah blah blah. It's kind of more personal when you reach out to them. You know what I mean? They have your number, they can text you, be like, oh, I can't make it today. I'm like, all right, that's fine, whatever, etc. You know what I mean? It's slightly more personal, but I would say if we're all crazy busy, then it'd be nice to not have to do that.
I'm talking. Worry about that part. I understand the communication part. I'm talking about strictly saying, okay, there's this spot available. Sometimes the pro just doesn't have the time to reach out to 4 people, right? Yeah. So you would rather have someone say, okay, I booked you this. Can you do it? But this is the back and forth with the tennis world, right? I can tell somebody I booked them a lesson. They may want to go home. Oh, right? So that's the tough part too, right? So you have a lesson. Yeah. You can book an open space. Yeah. That person is allotted for that space technically, but it's their last lesson of the day. And they're looking forward to being done.
Right.
Technically, say let's make it so simple. Their lesson canceled. Their last lesson canceled.
Yeah, then you fill it with another
And then you
lesson.
fill it with another one. They're
You're like,
already got their plans. They're already got a drink in their mouth. They're already ready to sip a little wine, sip a little tequila, have a little shot in the golf range. And then they look at the schedule, and somebody put a lesson in there. That son of a bitch. I had my life, and now it's gone. So what do you do as the manager, and what do you do as the person that wanted to sip a little bit of wine, a little Chianti, cigar? What do you do?
Well, how long were they gone? Like, my question. That's my first question.
What do you mean, how long were they gone?
Like, did they just leave? Saying, like when were they done? And
No, they're not done.
Did they have to come back?
Say it's 3:30,
and they have
their lesson canceled at 5. They're like, all right, I'm going to call the girl, I'm over there, and then someone just books them a lesson at 5.
Well, mentally they knew they were going to be here, so it's not that bad. But at the same time, if you make plans and then you have to go back on your plans, then it's a pain in the butt. Yeah. But then you just end up doing the lesson anyway and just pushing your drinks past. But it sucks because if it's the tea time, then you're like, dang it, I can't make this tea time.
It's a tea time.
It's a tea time. Then that's a little different.
Well, this is why our discussion was. The ideas we bat around is say that you're a fireman, right? If you're a fireman, what are you doing? You're just waiting for the call. So you're available, you're on call. Would it feel more, I like having this discussion in a public forum, would it feel more doable if you say, all right, you're on call for these 10 hours, and you just have to be prepared to come in or be in, and that's just the way it is. So if you're out with your friends and you get a call, you have to go. What is better? That you mentally know that you're going to have to leave? Or do you feel like mentally when you're ready to leave and someone says, you have another lesson? That's the worst, CJ. That's the worst.
Honestly, that is the worst in my opinion. Like when you're like you're
mentally out.
You're mentally kind of like this is your last lesson, and I don't have a problem doing lessons ever, But when you are mentally checked out, when you say this is your last lesson, and they canceled, and you're like, oh well, my lesson canceled, so I'm done for the day now, and then all of a sudden, boom. Not saying that again. I'll have no problem doing the lesson, but in your head mentally, you're like, oh, and now you have one more. Like it is a little bit more of a drag. And again, I don't have a problem doing the lesson, of course, ever, but I can definitely see why, it is kind of more in your head.
So my question, there's a whole tier of questions here, which would be, this is great discussion. This is a very good podcast because it's about human resources and people. So if you didn't get paid for that cancellation, would you be booking another lesson, or would you be like, I don't care about the hour, or how does it get to critical mass? So say you've had, on average, 4 to 5 lessons cancel a week, and they're not charged, and you don't get paid for it. Would you be like, oh boy, I'm going to start trying to hustle and book a lesson? This is starting to bite into my pocket. Yeah. So if it started to hit your pocket, would you be like, well, I got to start booking this lesson because, shit, I'm losing money. And there goes the mic falling off the table. This is high-quality Strand material. CJ. So answer that first, and then you can talk about the fireman stuff. But answer that question first.
Good. I need you to repeat the question.
Repeat the question. Again, like I said, your last lesson is over. It's canceled. If that happens repeatedly and you're not getting paid, and it adds up to, say, 4 or 5 hour a week of you not getting paid, you're going to start looking at your schedule and go, boy, I got to book this because I'm getting cancellations. Or you're going to start saying, hey, man, we got to charge these people. They're canceling late.
No, I personally would rather start booking these lessons because, of course, I enjoy what I do, so I want to be on the court anyway. But I can... But wait
a minute. You just said to me 2 minutes ago, it kills me when I think I'm out of here, and now I got to come back. Now all of a sudden it's corporate CJ going, I love it here. I'll be here 75 hours. It doesn't matter. What are you talking about? It's okay. You can be honest.
I'm just, no, but honestly, though, I do enjoy teaching on the court. So, if there's a lesson that I can, do, I don't have a problem doing it. But at the same time, if multiple lessons are canceling, I don't want to just not be working because I have all these lessons canceled. They're going to have to get charged for it, but I also want to try to fill those spots with, lessons that...
No, so answer the question about the fireman, because you were saying when you're doing a lesson at, say, 3 o'clock, the lesson cancels at 5, you think you're out or it gets booked, it's really emotionally annoying because you think you're done. I get that part of it. I get it. What's the answer with the fireman thing? What's a good suggestion?
My suggestion was a little more of a kind of a joking thing, but
Okay,
I think
give
that,
it to me.
If we get like a golf simulator here, I would happily be sitting on call 24/7, sitting here practicing my golf swing in the.
If we have a golf team,
golf simulator, like golf simulator, you know.
A golf simulator. How much those are, Ruthie? How much was that golf simulator at the other place? $50,000.
I mean, I think we could squeeze it.
Yeah, I think we could squeeze it. Okay, so now we need a golf simulator while you wait. Okay, those are perks. This is like Google now. All right, anything else we need?
I'm telling you, you know how much business I would bring in? Probably a lot.
No, it didn't work. It was at a tennis club and it didn't work. It was a huge loss. It was a huge loss. Usually, when you're playing golf, you do that in the golf places, right? There was a simulator at country clubs. It works because they're there to play. It's very rare for somebody to go to a tennis place to play golf. It's a different sort of thing. It's strange. Okay, so we're back. We didn't really get an answer. So what do you think? And something can answer it too. So I'm trying to get a clarity here. So this will help us. I'm really trying to get clarity so I know. So if you were paid hourly, like most people are, and lessons canceled, you'd be like, boy, we got to try to book these lessons. If you were fixed on a fixed payment, I wouldn't think you would care. And I'm not saying it's a big deal, but if you're going to get paid either way, you probably wouldn't care.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so that is probably the most reasonable answer, and it's logical. So I really think our best answer... What do you... No, that's not do. It's like pulling him out. I think really the best answer to that question, and my question was, do we need a sales department? So if everyone was paid per lesson, would we need a sales department? What do you think?
I would say no, because if you're, I would just book my own lessons and just go crazy.
Yeah,
just
right?
Because
you knew that you're going to get paid based on your
hourly rate or
rate or your merit or what you do.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right. Then the club makes more, then I would make more, right?
Yeah.
And then I can afford things.
Sure.
But then at the same time,
See, Ruthie.
People, like I have one friend, he works a lot, and he gets time and a half after a certain amount of time, and he has no work-life balance, but he does it to himself. So
what industry is he in?
He builds like cloud systems for like Amazon and stuff. So he builds like the warehousing. So he does like blueprints and whatever.
So that's a whole other series of questions. Maybe he's spending too much money. Maybe he's doing, you know what I mean? Whether he's overworking because his burn rate's too high. That could be 1,000 things. Yeah. Right? Live below your means, like we always say, CJ. You got a lot of habits, CJ. Yeah. A lot of habits. So I think we are having so many problems today. Mics are falling. Things are crazy. So I think the answer to the sales department is based on how we set up a structure. If everyone was a salaried employee, we would need a sales department because why would you be motivated? I get it. You're already getting paid. Why would you be motivated to do more? There'd be two different tiers of a system. You're a half-salaried employee, and then you get half hourly. So you basically, your salary is not enough to live on, so you would have to work more to make what you want. Or you get overtime, so to speak. You work a certain amount of hours, it's 35. I think it's too convoluted. I think simple answers are just you work per hour if you're on the court, and that's basically it. I think in regards to sales, where I think our job is, and my job and the management's job, is to start the lesson for you. In other words, get the contact, get the person, and then you need to nurture the relationship. I don't think for me to come into somebody and say, hey, yeah, good job, come on in and start booking clients. They'll be like, I don't know what to do. So our job is to create a good environment, whether it be group classes, which starts out to help your base, and then start feeding you contacts and privates that you would nurture. And I think then it's all based on how well you can nurture those privates to create your book. I always say responsibility is a two-way street, and I've talked to Chris about this a ton. You meet with somebody, you tell them this is your goal, this is what you could do. They don't accomplish it, and they say, well, where's the thing that you promised me? I said, well, it's a two-way street. You have to do your job. You can't I was supposed to get this, this, and this in 6 months, but you didn't do your job. So the promises go both ways, and they're a two-way street. So this podcast was more about the one-on-one question. So another one-on-one simple question, which could be more generic, it's not personal to anybody's life, is basically, it's so great if I went through one-on-ones about personal stuff. And you know what? No, I won't go through it. But it would be like, is there anything that I'm not doing that you need to be done? That's basically how these one-on-ones go. I'm trying to figure out.
Well, you always ask us, like, what do we need from you?
What do you need?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. It's not what you're doing for me. It's what I need to do for you. So, and I'm not trying to look like a good guy. In the overall, it helps the whole business. It helps me too. If I'm just selfish, it's a fucking mess. Everybody will see through that. Everybody will know it, right? So that's the biggest thing is what can I do for you? What's going on? How are you? And I think one-on-ones are very important. And I think everyone should do, I guess this is the one-on-one podcast. You should do them because somebody may express something that if you don't talk to them one-on-one, all of a sudden 6 months go down the line and they're pissed off because they didn't express something that could have been solved in 5 seconds. Say something you mentioned in a one-on-one stews for 6 months, and it's not addressed, and you kind of think, oh, this person's not really getting me or listening to me and all that stuff. So one-on-ones are like relationships. You don't go home to your significant other, CJ, and don't talk to her or don't say anything, and then in 6 months she's like upset or you're upset and no one's communicating. You have to communicate. You have to communicate in your job, and again, like, we discussed this in a podcast before. In a small company, you can have one-on-ones all the time. You should. I mean, it's not like we're, And who started Chipotle? I forget. Oh my God. Chipotle's how many thousands of employees now? He would travel around the country meeting one-on-one with every one of the employees. It's just a non-starter now. You can't do it. You can't scale it. But it's really important to get the culture and understand it. So I think, CJ, it's a good discussion here to figure out what I'm going back to the point of this is almost like a group one-on-one to say I'd rather have a schedule where it's more of an hourly schedule, and that way it's dictated based on what you want to do. And if you don't want to work more, you don't have to. It's your decision, so to speak. You basically say, okay, I've gotten my hours in, and I'm good. I mean, do you have any other comments you feel about something not CJ?
I mean, I like being on salary, but I don't mind working more. But some people definitely mind working more.
But everybody's job is different, and it has nothing to do with CJ.
Yeah,
CJ is more of an on-court. You're doing all this administrative work, so you can't really quantify that by hours.
Honestly, I can't even, sometimes I think about, do I even add this?
You can't
I don't
do
add
that.
any of the random stuff I do.
There's trainers on court, and then there's administrators. There's only like 3 or 4 administrators, but there's mostly trainers. So the trainers on court, that's the discussion.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, I mean, you can't,
bill lawyers, they bill everything. You know what I mean? Like when they're working, they bill their hours or whatever.
Yeah, we would be billing this right now.
That'd be insane. Yeah, I don't want to keep track. That's like
every 6 minutes. They're billing.
Oh, is it? I don't know how.
Oh
yeah,
my
I don't
gosh.
know. And then they send in their billable hours or something. That's what my friend said. That's what they do.
Yeah, they should. I mean, the key to these law firms is their billing hours, right? That's it.
Yeah,
it's how much you're billing. Discussions, phone call, any phone call.
Yep.
You can start doing that. You can start charging for your service when somebody asks you a question in the middle of the night. CJ's like, I'm gonna start billing.
Steve calls me at 8 a.m.
Well, the companies do that, right? So, SoulCycle is a perfect example of that. They had incredible online system. It was very robust. They created their own app. They were the first ones that started this because it was so popular that they would set a time, 12 o'clock every Monday, the schedule would open up for the week, and it would get crashed and locked out. But what happened was they had great loyal customers for years before this. Those loyal customers were getting locked out of the classes. So they're like, I can't get into my own class anymore. So then what did they do? They saw an opportunity. They created this concierge service. So they charge you more to talk to a human to put you above the queue. So you can pay more to get into any class you want.
That's nice.
Nice, right?
Yeah,
so in a strange level, you know how many people have done that with pickleball here? People are coming up and asking, listen, can I just give you $400 and give me in any class I want? It's like bribes left and right here with that stuff. It's more of a bribe. It's more of a bribe. But people are asking, like, they just want the admin service. Can you just, I'll pay you $200 if you can just put me in this.
Why don't they ask me that? I'll happily take it.
I'll happily take it. See, CJ. See, CJ. That's a lot of golf rounds, buddy. A lot of golf rounds. So, anyways, I think that's all I got today. Anybody else got any other information, Coach Chris, as you're listening and reviewing information?
I'm just soaking it all up. All your wisdom.
You know what? The sarcasm is so thick. You see how they treat their boss, CJ? Like nothing, like a piece of shit. I'm used to it, boys. I am used to it. No, it's a good group. It's a good group. I like it, you know. Even though I'm coming in for this one day just for you. Remember, I've given the keys to everybody. I'm not really here. Right? Right?
You're here like 3 times a week since we started.
It's going to be...
No, I feel bad for you, though, because I know, like, you don't want to...
Well, the only reason I had to come in was because we had the meeting, but then we also... we had a train issue with Derek. He couldn't get here. I had to get here on Sunday for him. I just had to help.
Oh.
That was it. I'm just helpful.
Well, you've also been here when they do, like, construction.
Well, I had to watch that. So I'm not really, like...
I mean, you're here.
I'm not really... You know what I'm trying to say? I'm not, like, doing any of this day-to-day. I'm not doing a lot of that stuff. There's a construction going on in our club, so I'm there for that. So
Yeah.
So I'm not really there. You know what I mean?
You know you miss it. So
I miss it so much. No, but I'm not, like... And again, maybe this... Yeah, you guys are doing your own thing. I'm not really bothering you with anything. And if you, text Chris with everything. Because last night he was texting me. All night, CJ was.
No, I texted. I called Chris because you didn't answer. I called you, but I knew you were going to.
He called me.
Did you call Chris first or called me first?
I texted you first. I called Chris first. I texted you first.
So this is a perfect example of me saying I give the keys, but I should say, what am I doing wrong? Did I not communicate? I didn't communicate with him that I wasn't going to be here this month.
Well, no, I knew that you weren't going to be here, but it was more the fact that just people came. I was told that I was closing. That's
correct.
Why. So when somebody comes in, and there's multiple people.
Correct.
People, I don't know. No. I'm like, why was I under the impression that I was locking up and I was eating out?
And to be quite honest with you, there was no one booked either. They just showed up. And that's when you asked them, did you talk to Steve? And they said no. So they just showed up.
And I texted Chris, and I was like, well, I got to figure this out because I don't want to. I mean, I know who it was, of course, and I know they can, lock up. But at the same time, I was supposed to be the one locking up, and I was going to leave. So
correct.
It just caught me off guard. But
that's very responsible. But but again, I guess everybody, it's going to happen. It's a maturation process, right? Your first inclination is to reach out to me. I understand.
I mean, you know how long that we've known each other for a long time, so it's more that, like, not that I, of course, Chris is amazing, but I just feel like, I don't know, that was like I've been here for technically 2 full years, but I've been here since high school, since junior, sophomore year of high school. So I mean, texting you about everything. It's more natural to be like, hey, Steve. But I know
all those personal problems he was texting me about. Steve.
A lot of personal problems. But,
Steve, I get it. I went to the doctor, Steve. It's just doesn't look good.
So that's why always my first instinct is to text you, just because I don't know. That's just what I'm just so used to, because in the past I would text you about a lot of things, and you would of course have no problem responding. You don't have, not that you don't have a problem responding back, but
it's going. I'm just letting him go. Listen, it's a twofold thing, right? What am I going to do? Not respond to you and say, listen, follow the rules? It's a weird thing. I will respond, handle what's going on, right? If you can't get a hold of somebody, I got to handle the situation. Then we discuss it later and say, hey, CJ, I'm not here. You can talk to Chris in general. That's all. It doesn't mean, I don't stick to my guns. It would be a little silly. There's a fire in the club. Nope. You're not supposed to get a hold of me now. Forget it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to use logic as well. It takes time, right? I've been leading this ship for a long time, trying to do a little bit of a longer test. And I do like the podcast, so I'll come in the day for that because it's fun. That's just fun. That doesn't feel like work. This is just good stuff. I'm not We're just hanging and doing it. You know, you guys do what you want. You don't, again, don't ask me any questions when I'm here, CJ. No questions. Even if you want to raise, you ask Chris. He'll say no. He's tight on that. So that's it. That's all I got today. Good stuff, everybody. Everybody stay active, right? The answer's in the action, CJ. Work out. Don't just play golf and drink. That's not a workout.
All our balls go in.
All our balls go in. That's what he wanted our tagline to be. All our balls go in. Oh, that's too funny, CJ. You're the best. That was years ago. All right. Thanks, guys. See ya. Hey, everybody. Hope you like the podcast. Please share it with your friends, anybody that you know, anybody that's into tennis, anybody that's into bettering themselves. Share it.